Alright, welcome to week 5 of the AFG Pokemon Draft League, everybody. This week we are taking on the New York Raging Bulls, coached by Sir Bloo. Sir Bloo is one of my good friends in my league, and we have actually never beat him. I am 0-4 lifetime against him, so I'm very much hoping to get my first win against him this week. And I think we have the team that can do it. But first, I'm going to go over his team and kind of talk about what I'm expecting. His team consists of Gholdengo, Ting-Lu, Samurott Hisui, Moltres, Tangrowth, Muk, Terra Primeape with Fighting, Ghost, and Fairy, Mega Manectric, Galarian Rapidash, Espeon, and Terra Basculin with Water, Rock, and Normal. Let's go through his members here. So Gholdengo definitely think is going to come. I thought it might be Choice Scarf with Trick for my Porygon, but then I realized that Tracing Good as Gold doesn't let him trick me anymore. So I think that set is a bit less likely. It's still not bad, but I think it's more likely that he is a Nasty Plot set. Then we have Ting-Lu. I think Ting-Lu always comes. It is a good check to Victini and physical attackers there. Also doesn't take too much from special attackers just because of its ability, but I do think it is Fizdef this week. And of course we'll have some hazards there. I think Samurott Hisui also has a pretty good matchup. I do have a couple things that might make it not want to come, like Keldeo, Shaman, Togekiss, so if there was any week not to bring it, it might be this week, but Spike Stack is still very good against my team. Of course, he has Gholdengo, so I can't really remove hazards. So I think there still is a good chance that he brings that. Moltres, I think, is kind of 50-50. It could be a good Victini check if you think I'm going to click V-Create, but I could always click Bolt Strike, which is going to do about half to it, and that would outspeed it, and kill it the next turn with the other one. So I don't know if it's really going to come. I also have a Keldeo, which kind of makes it not want to come, a Sandy Shock, stuff like that. But if he really is worried about Beedrill, that it's definitely a good check to it, because I can't run anything like protective pads on it because I'm a Mega. So for that reason, I think it probably doesn't come, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see it. Tangrowth, I think, definitely comes. Very worried about Tangrowth. You'll actually see I made some changes to the team. I'll talk about what I originally had and then switch them to solely because of Tangrowth. I know I have a Victini, but otherwise I don't really have the best ways to deal with it. Togekiss obviously can hit it with some good damage, but I think he's definitely going to be AV this week, and that does really, really well into me. It makes Sandy Shocks not as good, makes Keldeo definitely not as good, so I think Tangrowth AV seems like the best set here. I don't really see Muk coming. I think he has better things on his team because I haven't even got to the back half of his team, and I think there are multiple things that are better than Muk. Same goes for the Galarian Rapidash. I just don't see that coming when the other 4 Pokemon that he has the options to bring all seem pretty good. Then he has Primeape. Primeape, I think, has a alright matchup. I could definitely see it coming. Not the best, but Terragos Rage Fist seems pretty free into my team. Otherwise, I don't think it does too well, but definitely could see that coming. Mega Manectric actually looks insane into my team. I don't really have switch-ins to it. You'll see I kind of have an interesting set to try and counter it because we just really don't have great counterplay to Electric plus Fire. And also he can run Toxic, which gets really annoying, and also outspeeds my whole team. It's just really, really good into me specifically, so I definitely think he's going to bring that if he notices how good that does. Espeon is also kind of 50-50. It can be used to Magic Bounce hazards back, which is nice. Also Psychic is pretty good. I do think it has a solid matchup. It's just I think he has a lot of good Pokemon, so it's hard to decide what to bring. But definitely Espeon isn't too bad. And then Terra Basculin, potentially, I think this is not really a Terra Basculin week. I do have Empoleon, I have Shaman, Togekiss, Porygon, which all kind of take hits from it pretty well. So I do think he has better options, but Terra Basculin isn't too bad. I just think Muk and Galarian Rapidash just never come. And then Very likely Goldango, Tinglu, Tangrowth, Manectric, and then 2 of Samurott, Moltres, Primeape, and Espeon, I think is most likely. So let's get into our team here. First up, we have Goldilocks, the Sandy Shocks. It is a calm nature running the heavy-duty boots. We got Volt Switch, Spikes, Power Gem, Earth Power with a lot of SPDEF and HP to live hits from Manectric mainly. This is a really good switch into Manectric. He can't Volt Switch on me. Flamethrower and Overheat aren't doing too much with my SPDEF investment. Hopefully I can use Earth Power on it or get some hazards up. Power Gem is here for the Moltres, and Volt Switch is just good momentum as long as he doesn't go into Tinglu. But if I'm predicting that, I can just go for another layer of Spikes. And the only hazard removal he has is Defog, so I think it's unlikely he brings that, especially because Hazard Stack is so good into me, and he's not going to want to remove the hazards on my side of the field. So I do think setting up my own hazards are going to be pretty good into him. Second on the team, we have Victini, the Victini. It is rocking Jolly Nature and Heavy Duty Boots as well. And we have Bolt Strike, V-Create, U-Turn, and Quick Attack. V-Create, pretty self-explanatory. It is Victini's best move. Bolt Strike is to hit things like Moltres. Otherwise, we're pretty much just going to be clicking V-Create. U-Turn is also not bad for momentum. If we V-Create and then U-Turn out on something that's slow, potentially. But usually we're just going to be clicking V-Create a bunch of times. Quick Attack is to hit the Manectric, or the Espeon or the Basculin or something like that. If they are low and they are faster than me, then I can Quick Attack. It does like 20-ish%. Not the worst if they're pretty low and worn down. Third, we have Rainbow Dash, the Keldeo, Jolly Nature, Heavy Duty Boots. Yeah, this is a bit of an interesting Keldeo. It is a physical Keldeo with Swords Dance, Mega Horn, Liquidation, Flip Turn, Max Attack, 80 Defense, 176 Speed, which is all we need to hit the next thing under us. Yeah, we are physical because I think he's going to bring AV Tangrowth, and if he uses something like Ceaseless Edge and I switch in on Keldeo and get an attack boost, it is not just wasted. We can go for Swords Dance the next turn, expecting the Tangrowth to switch in, and we can Oko it with Mega Horn potentially after Rocks or Spikes. Some kind of hazard, but overall I think this will do pretty good. I think he's always bringing in something that is a SPDEF answer into this. It is a bit sketchy hitting physical moves into something like Moltres, but again, I was saying I don't know if Moltres is really going to come. But overall, I think this is a solid Keldeo. It's a bit interesting. Not the usual Secret Sword Surf set that you would normally see, but I do think it's pretty good here into what I'm expecting. So I'm hoping Keldeo can put in some work once again. Fourth up, we have Mako Sesh, the Togekiss. Modest Nature here, Heavy Duty Boots. Our fourth Heavy Duty Boots user, as you can see. Our strategy is not remove hazard, it is boot stack, so we don't take hazard damage. We have Roost, Flamethrower, Air Slash, and Dazzling Gleam. 52 HP, 204 special attack, 252 defense. This can switch in very nicely on things like Samurott, Basculin, even Primeape potentially. We don't want to really take Rage Fist boost. We have something else that can hopefully take those Rage Fists if he brings that. But also has pretty good attacking moves. I was potentially thinking of running Ancient Power on here for the Moltres, but I actually just don't think Moltres is going to come. I've kind of made the prediction that it's not. So yeah, we don't have coverage for that. We just have Flamethrower for things like Goldango, Air Slash to hacks him out with Serene Grace, and Dazzling Gleam to hit Tinglu. I do think this is a really nice pivot into Tinglu. I don't know if he can afford to run a rock move on me. I think it's more likely his Ruination, which we can always just roost up and PP stall potentially. Do have to watch out for our own roosts, of course, but we can also hit it for Dazzling Gleam damage. I think he's going to be Fizdef in this matchup for Victini, so it is going to do about 35 to 40%, which is great because Tinglu doesn't have recovery. And overall, I just think Togekiss looks pretty nice here. It is a good switch in on many things and can dish out some damage in return. Fifth, we have Jackass the Shaman. It has a bold nature and also rocking heavy duty boots. Fifth Pokemon with that. Also has Natural Cure, of course. We are running Healing Wish, Giga Drain, Toxic, and Synthesis. We have Giga Drain to hit the water types. We are Fizdef to come in on Basculin and Samurott. Also can come in on Primeape, similar to the Togekiss, but this Shaman is more supportive. It does not have any special attack investment. We are running Toxic, which is also good into his slower Pokemon like Tinglu and Moltres and Tangrowth if they want to switch in. And if it gets Magic Bounce from Espeon, we can just Natural Cure that off when we switch out, so not a big deal. Synthesis to keep our health up. And Healing Wish, if we are going down against something that is slower, we can just Healing Wish up and hopefully switch into something else and revive it to full health. Hoping that is pretty good here. Finally, we have Scrooge, the Porygon 2. Our old reliable is back for the 5th straight week. He is Calm Nature with Eviolite, of course, and we have Trace, which is really nice against Sir Blue's team. Goldango, getting good as gold is awesome. Tinglu can give us that special attack drop. Flame Body, Regenerator, Magic Bounce. Potentially Static from Manectric before it evolves. Just lots of really good things here. I really like Trace, and we're running Recover, Tri-Attack, Shadow Ball, and Teleport. Shadow Ball and Tri-Attack are our best 2 attacks to hit his whole team. We are Def this week with max HP as well. We want to come in on Goldango, we want to come in on Manectric, we want to come in on Moltres, things like that. Also Espeon, and take a hit and teleport out into one of our threats. Very similar to last week is how we're going to play this. Our one Pokemon without Boots, going to be a bit tough if he hazard stacks us to switch this in too much, but I do think it is worth bringing still. And yeah, that is our team for week 5 of the AFG Pokemon Draft League. I am about to get into the match here against Blue, so I will see you after the game for the replay review. Alright, we are here with week 5 against Blue. We can see what he brought here. He has the Goldango, Mega Manectric, Primeape, Tinglu, Moltres, and Espeon. Unfortunately, the Moltres did come. I was kind of hoping it didn't. I cut off a couple moves that would have been nice to have it, kind of the Ancient Power on the Togekiss, but it is what it is. Doesn't bring either of the water types, which, you know, kind of makes sense. Very surprised not to see Tangrowth. Tangrowth was really, really good into me, in my opinion. But yeah, we're going to get into the game here and see what he leads off with. We're leading off with our Sandy Shocks once again to hopefully get some hazards up. But we see the Espeon lead. We cannot set hazards against that because it is Magic Bounce. So I'm going to see how much damage he wants to do to me. I am Spadef, so I should live too unless he specs. We're going to get some damage off with Earth Power. We're both doing about the same amount of damage. I'm not looking to take any more damage on the Sandy Shocks at this point. I want to keep it around for the Manectric. It might have even been a mistake to keep it on the Espeon in the first place because we need it around for the Manectric, and we could have just gotten into Porygon 2, but I didn't want to get tricked, so we're going to see what he goes for. He's going to stay in, click Psychic. He does crit me, which is a bit annoying, because if he didn't crit me there, I would have teleported out because I wouldn't have taken that much, but since he did extra, I'm going to stay in and recover, get my HP back. Teleporting out into Victini on the Goldango would have been awesome, getting a free V-Create off, but it is what it is. We're going to heal up here. We're going to switch into Sandy Shocks on this. We're going to try and get some Earth Powers off. If he goes for an attack here, it's not going to kill me. I do have Earth Power that's going to do a bunch of damage to him, and of course, like I said, I am Spadef. He opts to go for Substitute, which is a bit problematic. We're not going to be able to deal too much damage to him here with the Earth Power. He does stay in and Nasty Plot. He's also Leftovers. So at this point, I'm just going to stay in and go for the Earth Power. We do 53%. He's very invested. And we do live this Shadow Ball, which is awesome. This was a roll. We found out afterwards. Close to 50-50. Very happy we live this. So we can threaten this out with an Earth Power. At this point, I was pretty confident he was not going to sack Goldango into me, so I did opt to go for Volt Switch, potentially on Moltres coming in on an Earth Power. He does go Tinglu, so a bit unfortunate there, but we can preserve Sandy Shocks and go right into our Keldeo. So we're going to flip turn out and go into Togekiss, which is also good, into the Ting-Lu. He whirlwinds me into Victini, which isn't too bad for me. I could just U-turn out pretty freely. I can't get flame bodied. I'm going to get some damage on this. I cannot go for V-Create because if I lower my defenses, he can go for Earthquake, and that is a big problem. We do just U-turn out here. We go back into Keldeo. He opts to go for some more hazards, which is not a big deal for me with all my boots. He's going to go Primeape on my Liquidation. Really unfortunate we had a defense drop here, which gives him +2 attack. Really bad for me. I'm just going to go straight into my Shaman, which isn't going to take any hazard damage, and is Fizdef. And he's going to go right for Terra Ghost Rage Fist, which does do more than half, which is pretty bad for me. I'm hoping I am faster than him. I don't think he runs speed on Primeape. I don't have any speed on Shaman, which is a little bit of a mistake. I probably should have something like 24 EVs in case he tried to speed creep a no-speed Shaman with Primeape, because it is only 5 points lower normally. But we go for the Healing Wish here, knowing that Sandy Shocks is alive on 1 HP. He goes for the Drain Punch. Luckily, we were faster. We can go to Victini first and go for a V-Create. It will kill this no matter what, which is good. And we can save that Healing Wish for later for the Sandy Shocks at some point, because everything else on our team is at full HP. He goes into Moltres on the V-Create, which is a good read. I would have liked to go for Bolt Strike there, but unfortunately did not. We're going to U-turn out, take a Toxic, not the biggest deal. Sandy Shocks comes back in and is full health with those boots, which is perfect for me. Now we can start getting our hazards up. I don't think you go Espeon here on this turn. You don't even know if I have hazards at this point. And Ting-Lu is pretty free. We do get a Spike up, which is great. We can go back into Togekiss. He doubles into Manectric, which is a very nice play. We're going to have to go back into our Sandy Shocks to try and take this Overheat. It just goes for Toxic, which I did mention in Team Builders, something he could have brought. Back into Primeape, which is fine by me. 2 Earth Powers will take this out. I am faster than this because this is faster than my Shaman, and the Shaman was faster than the Primeape. So we do get another drop, but not a big deal because we do just kill this thing with another Earth Power or the Volt Switch that I did end up going for. I'm going to go into Keldeo. I think it has a pretty good matchup into everything except the Manectric, and we can just double back into the Sandy Shocks on this, no problem. We do see a Flamethrower, which is a good play, expecting me to switch out, of course, and not getting 0 damage on my Sandy Shocks. Flamethrower only doing 28 because we are Spadef, not a big deal. We can just go for a free Earth Power here, which we do. He goes into Moltres this time, which is a nice play. We are going to get out of there, go into Togekiss. He's going to double, which is perfect for me. We can just go for a Dazzling Gleam, no problem. He's going to go for a Whirlwind, puts us into Victini. At this point, even if he's Fizdef, V-Create is going to kill this, so I'm going for the V-Create. I'm not going to risk going for a Bolt Strike. I think it's fairly likely you just sack this at this point, which he does. Back into Espeon, which does outspeed me. Obviously, I am dropped. I need to get out of here. I'm going to Porygon, which is our Espeon check at this point. And he does make a really nice play here and goes for the trick, expecting the Porygon switch. So now we are no Eviolite and we are Choice Scarfed. So we are able to pick up the Espeon with the Shadow Ball, which is nice, but we are not switching back in and doing anything anymore. Togekiss is in on the Moltres. I kind of just stayed in to see what he wanted to go for here. I goes for the Toxic. I Flamethrower it in case he switched into something like Goldango and I could pick up that kill. Wanted to see again what he was going to go for. He does Air Slash me and get the flinch, which is a bit unfortunate. Would have liked a bit more chip on this. But at this point, I see what he has. I can freely go into Sandy Shocks. I don't think he's going to click Hurricane this turn because we know it has Air Slash. We are going to live that. We know we're faster. And I'm just going to rip a Power Gem, and he stays in, which is great for me. Kill off the Moltres. At this point, you bring in Manectric. I don't really have a reason to keep the Goldilocks around. He's going to kill me off. I go into Victini. So I go into Victini here because I need to bait him to Volt Switch this turn. This is the only thing that can tank hits from the Manectric at this point. So I need to keep Victini healthy. Whereas if I go into anything else, he just Thunderbolts me. But with Victini here, he's going to try and Volt Switch out. At least that's what I expect. So I can go into Victini here, double back out to sack something else on the Volt switch, and then he goes into Goldango. I can just kill that off with Victini, no issues there. I can just get I can click a free V-Create here, kill the Goldango. We haven't taken too much chip. Thunderbolt does not kill me from here, even with another toxic chip. So we can just go back into something else, sack that off to the Thunderbolt, and go back into Victini, barring no crits, and we are good to just kill this with a V-Create at this point. So we did manage the end game pretty well, in my opinion. Victini was our only out there. We needed to bait the Volt switch so that we could kill Goldango and Manectric with V-Create, and it did work out for us. Obviously, a lot of different things could have gone differently. Sandy Shocks could have died instead of living. That crit, not getting the teleport momentum in the Victini was a bit annoying. Lots of different sets that could have been changed, different Pokemon that could have been brought, but that's draft for you. I'm happy to be 5-0, which means we are locked in for playoffs, even with 2 weeks to go, which is perfect. And we also break our losing streak against Bloo, so very happy about that as well. Season's been going very well. This turned out to be a good season to upload to YouTube because we have not been losing any matches. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I will be back for week 6 next week. We are against Azalea Akari, one of my good friends, and we will be playing that match next week. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a good one.